Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome to Steelers Almighty. Appreciate everybody being in here this morning and getting up with us during the dead period, people. We are trudging along until training camp, which starts July 23rd. So we are actually less than a month away from training camp, but we are still here. Appreciate you being in here. What's going on, Torsia? What's happening? I know it's early, but we're here, people. We are here. So appreciate you guys showing up as always. We got some good stuff to talk about today. First, are the Steelers going to ride with Calvin Austin III at wide receiver 2? That's number one. There's some stuff that's coming out. Second, Rodgers is going to have more freedom at the line of scrimmage than Russell Wilson did. And good, good. There's a lot of stuff last year that came out about Russell Wilson, him and Arthur Smith not being on the same page. Whatever, doesn't matter. Bottom line is that Rodgers is going to have a little bit more freedom there, which is a good thing. And then we'll talk about the offensive line depth and some pieces there that need to, in my opinion, that need to happen because the offensive line depth is a little shaky, in my opinion, little shaky. So appreciate you guys again getting up here. As always, man, if super chats are wide open, if you want to help support the channel that way, you can do that. To make sure that your comment or question or rant always gets up on the screen. Memberships are also still available for you guys to sign up for. So if you want to become a member, and definitely when members join, they always get their comments and questions up on the screen. So you have the ability to do that if you want to support the channel. But remember to like, follow, subscribe, hit the like button so we can get as many people in here this morning so we can touch that algorithm a little bit. Appreciate you guys, man. So let's get after it. We got Carl in here and Chris. What's going on, Carl and Chris? Appreciate you guys being in here. So are the Steelers going to ride with Calvin Austin III as wide receiver 2? Now, last year, the Steelers never got that second wide receiver. I mean, they had the same receiver. They had Calvin Austin, Scotty Miller, Van Jefferson, and I guess technically Van Jefferson was the guy, but I think Van Jefferson was basically a 4 and not even a wide receiver number 3. He was a wide receiver number 4, and that's who we were using. Calvin Austin is a slot guy, but they're talking about he's wide receiver 2 now. His wide receiver coach came out and said that's who it is. Okay. Last year, they even went out and traded for Mike Williams, gave up a 5th-round pick. First game out, Mike Williams catches a game-winning touchdown. I think he got a total of like 7 snaps for the next 3 games. So it just didn't work out with Mike Williams for whatever reason. So the Steelers are looking to do something different. But he's there. Calvin Austin III is there. And I don't know. But we'll see. Again, my thoughts are CA the third or CA3, I should say, is a better slot receiver. I like his ability. I think it's somebody, I've already told you guys, I think he's somebody that the Steelers need to extend before the training camp or before the season starts because I think you could get him for cheaper and the Steelers need him. They absolutely need him. There's no reason to let him hit the free agent market and go out there and try to get somebody else. It doesn't matter if Roman Wilson can play or not, man. You can get CA the third or CA3 for probably $5 or $6 million over the next 3 years. You need to do that. You absolutely need to do that because he is a great third receiver. Number 2, I don't know, man. I don't know. You'd be hard pressed. Now, I'm not saying that there's none out there. I mean, we saw Tyler Lockett be a wide receiver 2 for years at that size, but he's bigger than Calvin Austin is. Tyler Lockett's bigger than him. But usually you don't have your second wide receiver playing outside, technically the flanker position, being that short. And again, I know it can be a preference, and I know somebody could probably find somebody that, hey, look at this guy. But it's not often that happens. Your outside receiver being that short. So Not saying it's impossible. And I'm not even saying that he's a bad football player, because again, I'm telling you we need to extend him. But for where we're currently at right now, I just think that they got to go get somebody. Keep Calvin Austin III. Just go get somebody else. That's my personal opinion. Hey, Vaughn, what's going on? So you are here. That's all that matters, man. So um, we'll see. We'll see. Torsha says number 11 is cursed with wide receivers Claypool, Moncrief, and Jefferson. I don't know if it's cursed. I just think that those guys. I mean, Claypool had a chance, but decided that he wanted to be. I don't know. Claypool thought he was a star before he was a star, and nobody thought he was a star, and now he's out of the league. You know, I know that everybody wants to blame Mike Tomlin and say that he can't develop a guy and it's his fault. Well, nobody else could find that talent out of him either. He was on 3 other teams and none of them could find it. So it wasn't a Pittsburgh problem. It was a Chase Claypool problem. But that's beside the point. Is I like Calvin Austin III. But can he be number 2? Now, Roman Wilson, there's going to be some battles there. And is Roman Wilson going to push to be that second guy? I was saying that early on, but look, we got to get through a training camp. I mean, Roman Wilson got 1 day in pads in training camp last year and ended up getting hurt and didn't come back until the season started and then got hurt again. And then when he came back, the Steelers didn't trust him to be in a football game. That's an indictment, you know? So are they going to push each other and figure this thing out? I hope so. I sure the hell hope so, because competition, obviously, competition breeds competitiveness and breeds success. And we need that to happen. I still like I like the potential of Roman Wilson. I shouldn't say I like what he brings to the table because, hell, we don't know what he brings to the table. But, again, he's bigger than Calvin Austin. I'm not saying he's a mountain of a man or anything like that, pause. But he's bigger than Calvin Austin. Can he be that number 2? I think the Steelers actually want that. I think they want Roman Wilson to go win that job, just not sure that he's capable of it, people. That's my only thing. And minicamp, because the same thing we said last year about Roman Wilson, he looks awesome in minicamp. He looks awesome in OTAs. He even looked good the first day of training camp before he got hurt. He was looking good then. And then he gets hurt, and that was basically the end of it. So we'll find out exactly what's what. The one thing is, and Mark Malone brings up a good point about CAIII, can he block? He's too little to block. He's too little to get down in there and dig out a safety. He tries. So it ain't about lack of heart with CAIII. It ain't about lack of heart. He'll go down in there. He's just not big enough. That's where the difference between him and Roman Wilson is. Roman Wilson will block and can block. Now, it was at the collegiate level, mind you, but that was his thing. That was why the Steelers were so high on him, is because not only was he explosive, but he also got down in there and was not afraid to go beat up a safety and go dig his butt out in the run game. Because they made it abundantly clear at Michigan, if you want to catch the football, you better block. And so that's what he did. And he's going to need to do that with Pittsburgh. You got to go down in there and block, man. You got to be willing to get in there and block. So we'll see what happens during training camp, and it's a good test for wide receivers in Pittsburgh because the Steelers got some good safeties. They got good guys. You need to get down in there. You better get down in there and block. Mika Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Elliott, Juan Thornhill, they will blow you up if you're just out there, just tiptoeing around, just trying to patty cake with them. They're not having that. So that's why when Steeler receivers, they say they can block, it's like, yeah, they can. Because in training camp, Mike Tomlin still runs a tough training camp. It's like, look, you're going to get down here and block. And we got guys that you're going to have to block because our safeties mean business. So I like it. So, no, Wilson didn't get hurt on that. He got hurt on he got tackled around the ankles, Torsia. That's how he got hurt. So he got tackled and twisted an ankle that way. It was silly. Not silly. It's just the Steelers are one of those teams that tackle in training camp. Mike Tomlin believes tackling, full tackling. A lot of teams don't do that in training camp. The Steelers do. So it happens. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I guess you could say not tackle, but early on in the season, you know how defenses are so bad at tackling early on. The Steelers really aren't bad to begin the season at tackling. That's because they're doing it during training camp. So as much as some people may like or dislike, hey, Webb, how you doing? I didn't even see you there. How's it going? But as much as people may or may not like it, I think tackling in training camp is essential. At least a day or two. At least a day or two. Hey, super chat from our man Alonzo Dunn. Good morning, Mr. Dunn. How you doing, sir? Appreciate you being in here. So, yeah, and Topaz, you're right about Roman Wilson. He was rated high. And I think the Steelers got to give him a chance. Because if you're not going to give him a chance, then it's time to trade him. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to give him a shot. Calvin Austin III, I think he's earned his shot, but at slot. You don't need to put somebody somewhere where they're not going to be the best fit. And I know the Steelers have a pendants for doing that from time to time, putting guys in positions where, yeah, we got a need here, so we'll put you there versus, you know what, your best fit is here. We're just going to put you here. We saw it with Broderick Jones. We saw it with Broderick. Put him at right tackle he had a little bit of success, even though his preferred side and his best side is left tackle. So we've seen it. We've seen it before. So hopefully Roman Wilson can do something here. Because if he can, then I guess the question is the need still there? I would say, yeah, the need is still there. You always want to improve your offense. You always want to improve your roster. So if you still have the opportunity to go sign somebody, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. I mean, Amari Cooper out there, Keenan Allen out there. And I know Keenan Allen said he doesn't want to play in Pittsburgh. His comment was, yeah, Pittsburgh, no, I don't want to play there. But they signed Aaron Rodgers, so you never know. So does he really not want to? Probably not. But if his phone isn't ringing and he still wants to play football and the Steelers call him, do you want to play football or do you not? And if you don't, more power to you. Because he said he only wanted to play either in Chicago or on the West Coast. Chicago let him go, so Chicago's not interested in him anymore. And I don't know if the West Coast teams are either, because I know the Chargers don't need him and the Rams don't need him. So there kind of goes that, unless he wants to go up to Seattle, which they don't need him either. So I don't know. That's just me talking out loud. But I feel like this is going to be something. Look, A-Rod took a liking to CAIII. He took a liking to him and talked about it a little bit. Came out with a comment basically that there's going to be some guys that maybe you haven't heard of that are going to surprise a lot of people this year. So the Malibu work that's about to get done, that may be getting done as we speak, that Malibu work, that guys are going to go out to Malibu and work with Rodgers for a week, a couple of weeks, who knows how long. It's going to look good. It's going to be good. So DK already lives out there. So he's going to be out there. Guys are going to go out there and get some work in, man. Who knows? Here's the thing with me. I think DK and Aaron Rodgers, they showed that one day they were working out at a high school together. I think it was a lot more than that. I think it was much more than that. And the reason that I say that is because Rodgers is talking about how DK says he gets up at 6:30 or 6 o'clock every morning and goes and works out and does this and that. And Rodgers was like, hey, what about 8 o'clock? I'm driving from Malibu to East LA. I don't want to have to get up at 4 or leave my house at 4 to try to get there. So I think that's part of it. I think they've been working out a lot more than what has been reported. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. So Vaughn says, I got faith in Roman Wilson. Staying hopeful on him. I am too. I'm staying hopeful. Hey, we got a new subscriber, people, Mr. William. We appreciate you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for supporting us. But that's my whole thing. I think they're there. I'm staying positive. I'm staying positive. Torsha says we got a Thunderbird offense. I don't know. We'll see. Eddie brings up a point talking about Chicago. Chicago might trade more, so they'll need a third wide receiver with Rome and Luther. Why would Chicago trade DJ Moore? They just paid him 2 years ago. Or not 2 years ago. They just paid him last year. So if you just paid him, why are you getting rid of – yeah, they're not going to trade DJ Moore. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. He's one of the better receivers in the league. They got an offense. They need an offense that is predicated on passing, getting the ball out. They got a young quarterback. Why not keep him around? I know that was a rumor. Just don't believe that rumor. There's no reason for Chicago to trade him. No reason whatsoever. So, but it's the Bears, and Bears do stupid things. So you never know. But I would say they're not going to trade him. But I like what the position that we're in, CAIII. I like that fact that he's there, but we'll see what happens. Him and Roman Wilson, I think it's going to be a position battle that's going to go into training camp, deep into training camp, and we'll see what we got. We will see what we got. So, got faith in him, says my man Zay. I do too. So, what's going on, Kenneth Jones? But Zay Curry says, I do have faith in Roman Wilson. Same build as AB, who we could argue is one of the best. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can't. I mean, look, you're not being serious if you don't say that Antonio Brown is one of the best receivers in NFL history. So, you're not a serious person. Was his fall off one of the biggest fall offs we've ever seen? Absolutely. Absolutely. Hell, the guy's wanted for murder for crying or attempted murder for crying out loud. But that's where we are with it. Let's move on, people. So Rodgers is going to have a little bit more freedom at the line of scrimmage. I don't think that's a surprise to any Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I mean, you're not bringing Aaron Rodgers to be your quarterback and then to lock him up and have some restraints on him. I don't think that that's the case. Now, I know last year that Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin, they didn't trust Russell Wilson. They didn't. I mean, we heard the rumors talking about how Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith got into it after the Cincinnati game where he threw for 414 yards. He was changing things at the line of scrimmage. And I think there was some vindictiveness on Russell Wilson's part, and probably rightly so, because, hey, man, they're trying to stop the run. We can exploit them in the passing game. And they did. Then the next time we play the Bengals, they do the same thing. It's like they're trying to stop the run. Russell Wilson's like, I'm not going to get chewed out. I'm not going to get cussed out for changing plays. I'm just going to keep running these same plays. I'm not changing anything. And just ran the football, and we couldn't move the football against the Bengals. And the Bengals defense was horrific. Let's be clear. The Bengals defense was horrific last year. It's the reason they didn't make the playoffs, because their defense couldn't stop anybody. And the first time we played them, they couldn't stop us either. But you get an offensive coordinator that's headstrong, won't be changing plays. Ooh, Black Hill, thank you for supporting the channel, man, and subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you. And the next thing you know, this is what happens. Russell Wilson doesn't run it or doesn't change any plays. We can't move the football. And then amazingly, when we start opening up the playbook, we started moving the ball, but it was too late by that time. It's just, ugh. But you're not going to do that to Aaron Rodgers, man. You're just not going to do that to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to do what he wants to do. Super chat by our man Alonzo Dunn. Thank you for always supporting the channel. Says, I think we aren't giving enough credit to the superior brain of Rodgers. Maybe I'm biased, but I see us winning big. Hate to say it, but Rodgers is the smartest QB that the Steelers ever had. I think he knows what it is. I mean, I don't think anybody ever accused of the Ben Roethlisberger of being dumb, but there's a lot of people that say Aaron Rodgers is extremely smart. So being the smartest QB that we've ever had, I mean, obviously that's debatable, but it's not outlandish. It's not outlandish. You know, is he as physically gifted now than he was when, in his prime or in Big Ben's prime? No. But he's such an upgrade over what we've had basically the last 5 years at the quarterback position, people. It's incredible. So I agree with you, Alonzo Dunn. I'm with you. And there's no reason to bring Aaron Rodgers here and not tap into how smart he is and his ability to read a defense, change a play, get us in and out of the play. So that's the thing. My man said he hadn't heard the word horrific in forever. Man, subscribe to the channel. You'll hear it from me a lot. That's one of my favorite words, horrific. Because when the Steelers are playing bad, I'll tell you. Or if somebody else is playing bad, I'll tell you. And my man, Black Hillbilly, is listening from Dallas. What's going on, man? I live in North Dallas. Or north of Dallas, I should say. So I appreciate you being in here, brother. Big Measy with the super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. He says CAIII can be Rodgers, Jordy Nelson. Maybe. Small and fast. Which Jordy wasn't small, but he was definitely fast. But Jordy Nelson was big. Jordy Nelson was 6'2", 6'3", about 210 pounds. I mean, Jordy Nelson was a bigger guy. But he was fast. He was definitely that. I don't know if he's as shifty as CAIII. But either way, bottom line is security blanket. You can absolutely do that. You can absolutely do that. So I appreciate you, man. So, yeah, Torsha, you're 100% right. Talking about Josh Dobbs. Technically, I don't even think it has to be technically. I think it's just factually Josh Dobbs is the smartest QB that the Steelers have ever had. I don't that's not I forgot totally about I was only thinking starting quarterbacks. So Torsha Jackson is 1,000,000% correct. 1,000,000%. Because when you have a damn rocket scientist that's in your quarterback room, that guy automatically becomes the smartest guy you've ever had. Period. End of story. He may be the smartest person that's ever been in the Steelers organization. End of discussion. So I apologize. You are exactly right. Josh Dobbs. Boom. B-Man said Terry Bradshaw was the smartest quarterback at the Steelers. Stop saying that out loud, man. Stop saying that out loud, okay? Stop it, stop it, stop it. Lonzo Dunn says, okay, get Bradshaw to spell cat. Yeah, no, Bradshaw was not the smartest guy but he could play some decent football. He wasn't the greatest, but he was pretty good, and he was really good in the big moments. So, really good in the big moments. Our man, we want to celebrate Zay Curry, man, for celebrating the channel. He's been 2 months as a member of Steelers Almighty. Just as a reminder, people, that memberships are about to change for Steelers Almighty. So when they do change, YouTube literally kicks everybody out from being a member, and then you'll have to re-up. Now, I know that's a burden. I apologize for it, but we need to make some changes because the changes are to your all's benefit, and we need to make them. And any change that you make in your memberships, YouTube immediately cuts it off. And I'm like, you can't just keep everybody in grandfather. They don't do that. So I apologize for that. So I'll let you know exactly the date. It's going to come up here soon very soon, actually. So we're going to make a change. So just keep that in mind. If you're not a member, um, you know, or if you when you look up and you're all say, "Hey, man, I'm a member. What's going on here?" and then it cuts you off, it's because we made the change, and then you'll have to re-up your membership. Just remember, those memberships, the changes we're making are all for your all's benefit, all for your all's benefit. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So, let's see here. Zay says, "How isn't he starting? More brains than athleticism." Who are we talking about? So, who are we talking about there? Oh, Zay says Bradshaw used to get dropped on on his head regularly. Yeah, he did. He did. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So we'll get it all figured out, man. Big Measy says Rodgers is going to be able to see and make the throws that Russ and Fields weren't making or scared to make. Those small pocket middle field plays. I mean, if you haven't seen, I broke down just 5 throws from last season of Aaron Rodgers where he's either in the pocket throwing over the middle or manipulating the pocket and throwing over the middle. I just broke them down. These are all plays that did not get made by Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks last year. And there are so many times where guys are running free. Hell, when Justin Fields alone, there's probably 9 to 10 times in the 6 games that he started that he sees a guy, he's looking at a guy that's running open in the middle of the field. That when you run the all 22 and you look at the tape, he's looking right at him. He doesn't throw it. He just doesn't trust his eyes, or he's been told, do not throw the ball over the middle of the field. Whatever the case, that ain't going to be what it is with Rodgers. So that's not going to be what he does, which is a good thing. Because if you're going to be out there scared, you shouldn't even be out there. So you shouldn't even be out there. We got a comment here from somebody who said that it's an actual funny story to me. My 2 best friends from high school used that word, talking about horrific. And the whole high school started using. Hey, I'm just telling you, if you're not subscribed and you're not a member of Steelers Almighty, become a member, my man, because we use horrific here all the time. So, all the time. Nah, B-man, Bradshaw called his own plays because that's what everybody in the league did. They called their own plays. That's what they did. They called their own plays. So it wasn't just Bradshaw. And it isn't that guys now couldn't call their own plays. That's just not what they do. Guys get paid and have specific jobs. Back then, the offensive coordinators, they weren't putting together play schedules. They weren't calling their own plays. Everybody did it then. So the guys could do it now. They just don't. So, yes, in other words, Josh Dobbs is super smart, Alonzo Dunn. Absolutely. So, absolutely. Yeah, back in the day, all quarterbacks used to call their own plays. That's what all of them did. That's just the way it was. It's just the way it was. So it's not a phenomenon. And even now, like in 2-minute drills, quarterbacks are calling their own plays. For the most part, the good ones. You're not getting in the 2-minute drill. You're not having the guy in your ear talking to you the whole time. You need to be out there understanding what's going on because you've done it enough to be able to do that. And Rodgers is going to have that freedom to get the Steelers in and out of good and bad plays. He's going to have that freedom, man. So I'm looking forward to it. Zay Curry with the super chat. He said, I meant Josh Dobbs being more smart than athletic, or the QB positions just at tough and mentally. Look, Josh Dobbs was a rocket scientist. So it's hard for somebody to be smarter than that guy. It's just, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's harder for just the average Joe to say you're smarter than a rocket scientist. Because, hell, what do we always say? Hey, this isn't rocket science, meaning that rocket science is probably pretty difficult. Well, this guy is an actual rocket scientist. So it's pretty tough to just be smarter than that, in my opinion. So I like Josh Dobbs, though. I like Josh Dobbs. So I don't know if I wish he was still around, but I like him. So KC Vegas says KC moved up 17 slots for that year's first and third, then the next year's number one. Oh, to get Patrick Mahomes? Yeah. I mean, everybody's talking about, well, I shouldn't say everybody. There's maybe some I don't know what I want to say. Some people out there that keep saying that the Steelers don't have enough draft compensation because I think the Rams and the Browns have 2 first-round picks. So the Steelers aren't in a position to move up in the draft. I'm like, why the hell aren't they? Well, they don't have 2 first-round picks. I go, well, how often do teams that first of all, how often does a team have 2 first-round picks? That doesn't happen very often. But even when they do, it's like everybody isn't trying to move up to get a quarterback in next year's draft. Like everybody isn't trying to do that. And when teams do that, they usually give up multiple first-round picks, but they're not in the same season. So what are we talking about here? It's like just because the Steelers don't have 2 first-round picks next year doesn't mean that they still can't move up. And everybody in here, I think most people that come to Steelers Almighty understand that the Steelers are going to have to give up, depending on where they are. If you're trying to move up in the top 10, you're giving up 2 first-round picks to do that. That's going to happen. So it's just crazy. I don't think anybody, and matter of fact, I know nobody in Steelers Almighty, never in the chat. None of you guys are like, well, they'll just take a first and throw a third and a 4th round pick and we'll move up 15 spots. I'm like, that ain't going to happen. It's going to take multiple firsts. But you would give up multiple firsts if you were getting your franchise quarterback. Of course you would. That's how it works. Unless you just happen to be picking that high. Well, then that's a different conversation. But yeah, you're going to give that up. Okay. It happens. It happens. Unless somebody happens to fall to you. That's a different conversation. But that, you can cross that bridge when you get there. But I like that. Yeah, the Steelers are fine. So, yeah, the QB class is pretty stacked, Torsia. It is. I'm not saying it's stacked with as high as maybe 2023 or classes that have 6 or 7 first round guys, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good, and I think the Steelers will definitely get who we want. I'm sure we're going to get who we want. So, oh, look at that. Mr. Dodd has joined the chat today. Good morning, Mr. Dodd. How you doing, Leonard? See, I got it right. Leonard. Oh, he's also got the super chat. I'm calling it now. Pittsburgh go draft the kid from LSU. Yeah, I like that. Me and Big G on the big show on Tuesday. That's who my number 1 guy on the board is. As of now. A lot of things can change between draft time next year, but as of now, absolutely. How you doing, Wild Bill? Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in. So lastly, guys, as far as the Steelers this season, one of the things that scares the hell out of me is our offensive line depth. Scares the hell out of me is Calvin Anderson is the swing tackle. I'm not impressed. Got in one. Basically, he came in, I think it was the Jets game. No, the Giants game last year. Comes in. Dan Moore had to go out. He comes in, immediately gives up a sack. I'm like, come on, man. And I know what you're saying. Hey, Tanya, how's it going? Appreciate you joining us this morning. But yeah, I'm not interested, or I'm not enthused, I should say, about him. Spencer Anderson is going to have to get a lot better, because if you guys remember when Isaac Siamala got hurt last year in training camp, Spencer Anderson was the guy that they immediately put in at left guard, and he started, and that did not work out. They eventually had to move Mason McCormick in, and then remember the Indianapolis game, Mason McCormick got in and started, but then James Daniels got hurt, and then they had to move McCormick over to right guard. So, and then when Isaac came back, McCormick was there the entire time. Spencer Anderson didn't show that he was a viable option. So for him to be there, he's going to have to get a lot better. So I just, to me, we've got to get some offensive line depth. The only person that, yes, Leonard Dye, you said it before I could even say it. McCollum came in for Frazier and played well. Played well, absolutely. And the thing that I like about McCollum is that he can play center and he can also play guard. I was so happy that the Steelers re-signed him. So happy. You know, I'll be shocked if the Steelers are able to keep him next year, because I think McCollum has an outside chance to start somewhere. But he happens to be in Pittsburgh now, so I love that fact. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Is we got to get some O-line. So, look, it's slim pickings out there right now for as offensive lines, but there's some guys that can add some depth. A couple of guys out there like a Isaiah Wynn, former first-round pick, has bounced around, didn't live up to expectations, had injury history, can play guard, but he also played tackle. That's a guy that you could bring in for dirt cheap as insurance. Just somebody that we could bring in for insurance. So, while Bill says that he's worried about Isaac, he's a run blocker, but gets blown up on pass protection sometimes. Last year he did, but in previous years he did not. I think last year Isaac was dealing with an injury. Well, obviously he was, but a pec injury. And if you notice his pec, he was always getting his shoulder turned, and then he dropped his outside foot trying to compensate. Again, you all know my philosophy. I don't give excuses for being hurt. And would I say that for people that are new? When I say I don't give excuses for bad play. Like if you're out there, I don't say, hey, man, you're out there. I know you're hurt, so it's okay. Just go ahead and play bad. No. I can't let you play bad and be out there. Get somebody else in there, But obviously, if you're the best we have, that's something different. But I just don't give excuses for playing bad. I understand you're hurt and you may not be 100% and you're not going to give your best effort. But that doesn't mean that you get to just play bad. And there were times last year where Isaac was bad. We saw it. But I think he was hurt all year. So that's legitimate, Wild Bill. Absolutely legitimate. So, hey, good morning, Tom. How you doing, man? But I think Isaac Wynn is somebody we could bring in for cheap. Somebody else, Jaron Christian. He's a former third-round pick, has played all up and down the line except for center. Pretty versatile guy. Again, insurance. We aren't bringing these guys in to start, people. We're just bringing guys in that have played meaningful snaps in the National Football League, that in case of an emergency, we can bring you in and you can help. I think the Steelers got to look at that, because I don't know. That's just my thought. That's just my thought. There's you got to have some backup. You got to have that. I know Dylan Cook is there. Dylan Cook got cut at last year, brought back on the practice squad. They seem to like him. So we'll see. Maybe he's a swing tackle. I know he got hurt, but maybe he's a guy that is better than Calvin Anderson. I just don't trust Calvin Anderson, people. I just don't. I don't. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be 100% wrong. And if I am, great. That means he's playing better than what I anticipate. But just to me, I don't see him doing it. So I don't see him being that guy. Tanya says, O-line needs to hold up so we won't be getting all those 3 and outs, and we need to start faster on offense. You can't say that any louder, Ms. Jackson. You can't say that any louder. The 3 and outs are what killed the Steelers. It killed the defense. Defense was worn out. So you literally can't do it any worse than what the Steelers did. I mean, first 5 drives, you're going 3. Even if you don't score on your first 5 drives. I'm not happy with that, but don't get me wrong. At least if you move the ball a little bit, you have a 7-play drive, you have a 6-play drive, maybe an 8-play. And even if you have to punt, okay. But 3 and outs are what will kill your defense. It'll wear your defense out. Because what if your defense isn't getting 3 and outs? Maybe the defense is doing the same thing. 6 plays, 7 plays, 8 plays, but they still make somebody punt. They're still out there, and you got to get helped by your offense. Complementary football needs to be gigantic with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Can't say that enough. Digital, what's going on, man? Appreciate you being in here this morning. I know it's early, people. I know it's early, but on Thursdays, that's what we do in the offseason. We get on here early. So I appreciate you. And he's saying didn't draft any O-line this year because Fatano coming back. We need a double-dip O-line next year. I think they will. I think the Steelers will go O-line next year for sure. They're going to go O-line and D-line next year. I mean, there's some needs, but look, you build teams. Look, you obviously got to have the quarterback. That goes without saying. But trenches. The trenches are how your football team is built because you can look at the Chiefs. Just look at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs traded away Tyreek Hill. Remember they had Tyreek Hill when they won their first Super Bowl. They won 2 more the year after they traded him. They traded him. They won the Super Bowl, went back-to-back without Tyreek Hill. And at one point, Tyreek Hill was got voted by the players as the best football player in the league. And I get it that they had Travis Kelce, but trenches, man, trenches. The Chiefs had a good O-line. And the Chiefs what the Chiefs really had was the interior from left guard, center to right guard was the best in football. That matters. That matters. So, Mr. Dodd here with the super chat says, I like Jack Sawyer, but should have took an offensive lineman, in my opinion. Yeah, I thought so too. Still think so. But if Sawyer can come in and be that 4th edge rusher and can play the run, which I think I'm more excited about him against the run than I am the pass. But I want him to surprise me because a lot of people keep saying, Big B, you're going to be surprised by Jack Sawyer. Perfect. Surprise me. Surprise me. Because I don't think his athleticism is going to translate to the NFL. You all know me. If I'm wrong, perfect. That means you're playing well and for my Pittsburgh Steelers. So prove me wrong. I don't have any problems with that. What's going on, King Train? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you being in here this morning. So, but we'll get it fixed. We'll get it fixed. Exactly, Torsha. They won with Juju as their main target. So it just shows you what a good QB can do, plus an offensive line. That's exactly right, Torsha. You don't quarterback too. Let's not miss out on having the best quarterback in the league. But when you have an offensive line, and think about the Chiefs' run game, like Isaiah Pacheco is not going to confuse anybody with, Barry Sanders or Walter Payton. I mean, he's serviceable, but Isaiah Pacheco ain't starting for the Steelers. He ain't good enough to start here, but he's good in their system because they can block and they can throw and do the things that they need to do. So it's if you have the trenches, the outside doesn't matter as much. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying it doesn't matter as much. That's all. That's all. Wild Bill says 2 years ago when we were getting linebackers out of retirement because of the injury bug. Yeah, we were. We were. That was sickening. That was sickening. I mean, everybody got hurt. I mean, all the linebackers got hurt. E-Rob was out there playing on one leg. Everybody, Holcomb, Quan Alexander. I mean, guys were just dropping like flies. Safeties were dropping like flies. We were signing safeties off the street to play middle linebacker. We had Miles Jack, who had retired and had been retired. We say, hey, man, we need you. Are you in shape? No, I'm not. Perfect. Come on in. Come play for us. You're not just going to play. You're going to start on Sunday. Yes, today's Wednesday. Come on in. I know you're not in shape. That's perfect. Just come on in. That's what the Steelers were doing at the end of the year. And somehow still made the playoffs. Now, don't get me wrong, they backed in, but back in, whatever the case. So they did have the best defense that year, Mr. Dodd. They did. The defense was crazy good until guys started getting hurt. It's like, well, damn. Super chat by Mr. Alonzo Dunn. Thanks for supporting the channel as always, man. Last off-topic statement for today. Embry-Riddle or Naval Technical Training Center. Smart, huh? My VCR flashed 12 for 3 years until my equally smart girlfriend came and put black tape over it. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I love the chat, man. This is why I love you guys. It's because of this right here. And everybody's done it. That's the whole thing. Everybody's done it. That ain't just you. Everybody has done it, man. Or how many times when we had the old VCR, the tape wasn't going good, you open it up, you blew inside of it, you tapped on the top of it, you hit it from the back, put the tape in, perfect. How many times did we do that, man? Everybody was doing that. It wasn't just you. It wasn't just you. Everybody was doing that. So, but yeah, man, that year, the Steelers did have a good team, but when your defense is just decimated by injuries, I mean, literally, they were playing off the street safeties at middle linebacker. I'm like, well, damn. And don't get me wrong, the offense was bad. Baby Hands Pickett was a laughing stock, doing what he does, playing below average football and getting hurt on top of it. So it just is what it is. So we'll see. Oh, Dexter Davis, what's going on, man? You were on yesterday. We talked to you. You called me a liar at the end of it. I don't know what I was lying about, but I'm glad you're back, brother. Appreciate you. So, but yeah, Alonzo, everybody was doing it, brother. Everybody was doing it. So it is what it is. It was great. So, all right, man. I appreciate you all. That's what I got for you all this morning. I appreciate everybody getting up with us. Thank you so much. If you're in here and you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. Again, if you want to become a member, you know how to do that. Sign up. More importantly, man, go get you some Steelers Almighty merch. Go get you a shirt. Go get you a hat. Go get you a Thunderbird shirt. We got a Thunderbird advisory board. We got a bunch of fun stuff over there. Again, it's at Steelers Almighty Shop. Make sure you go check all that good stuff out, man. I got my stuff in yesterday or 2 days ago. Here's my cup. I got my cup here, my Steelers Almighty cup. I love this thing, man. I love it. It's cool. It's fresh. Keeps my drink cool, and y'all never know what I have. And then now I got a little straw in here. You never know. Maybe I got Thunderbird in here. Maybe I got ENJ in here. Maybe it's just water. I don't know. It's 9:45 in the morning here, so who the hell knows what I got in here. Bottom line is, go pick up some stuff, man. Robert, don't be sorry you're late, man. It's all good. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys for showing up. Remember, tomorrow at 6 Central, 7 Eastern, the podcast will be on. We'll be in the chat, man. I appreciate you. We got one last super chat from our man, Mr. Dodd. He is talking about that young listener right now, like, what's a VCR? Exactly. They have no idea what a VCR is. Hell, I'd be surprised if they even know what a CD player is. And they probably don't even know what that is, or a DVD player. They got no clue. No clue. So, and yeah, you're right, Vaughn. If it was E&J in here right now, you're right. I'd be sweating like Mike Tomlin was at the owners meeting. So it ain't E&J. I appreciate you guys, man. I talk to you guys tomorrow, and I love you, and aloha.